Hey there, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I'm finally getting a little bit back on track. Yesterday, I published my first video in a long time. I had COVID the first couple weeks of September. Then came Hurricane Helene, destroyed my area. I had no power for 13 days. So I do suggest you look up the what I wrote, the video that I did yesterday, because it focuses on this issue of what we call acts of God in the law, and that means these situations we might be facing, whether it's your cell phone provider not allowing you to extend payments because you haven't had power and you're going through difficult times financially, or even in my case, the video focused more on my internet satellite provider, where I have 6 weeks left on the contract and they didn't want to cancel it. So I go into detail on how you can cancel that. I'll just put the link in the bottom too, just to make it easier. So definitely look into that, because for those of you that are victims of Hurricane Milton and Hurricane Helene, like I was, it's a very important thing financially that you can do to protect yourself. Okay. So today's topic is very simple: FEMA. If there's anything that I can't stand is disinformation or misinformation. And the fact is, you have to be informed. It is so much easier lying today than ever online. These things go crazy. And then all of a sudden, this lie becomes a twisted truth. Now, the reality is there are bad actors at play here. Could be other countries that a lot of times are spreading disinformation. I recommend you look up the bipartisan Senate report from a few years ago, where it was Senator Ward and Senator Marco Rubio, so bipartisan, where they had said, yes, the disinformation being created by countries like Russia and what they had, the Internet Research Agency, it is true. It is well documented by the Senate. Now, with that, I say, we have this issue with FEMA and all the lies that are being spread. Now, I avoid politics until now, because the reality is these lies are being spread by President Trump about FEMA. The $750 thing, that's all you're going to get, that's not true. FEMA has come out 100 times and said that you're going to lose your home because of FEMA. That's also not true. Is it a loan? Also not true. The reality is FEMA is Federal Emergency Management. That's what they do. They're there to give, basically, they call it as a grant, financial assistance. How do I know? Because of Hurricane Katrina and Wilma, I went through that. And guess what? They gave me a check to go buy a generator, and I did, because I was back then 28 days without power. I think it would have been Hurricane Wilma, 28 without power, and they literally came to my house, gave me a check to go buy a generator. FEMA is not the SBA, and that's where I think people are getting confused. And let's break this down real easy. The SBA, Small Business Administration, provides disaster loans. When you apply for FEMA, guess what? You're going to get an email from the SBA saying you might qualify for a disaster loan. And then that disaster loan could be to cover what your insurance doesn't cover. Insurance is, to be clear, they're going to be denying claims for years, because that's what they do. You might have to get an adjuster. You might even have to get a lawyer, because a scam with insurance companies are very simple: deny the claims. Hopefully, this goes on forever. You can't live in your house that's falling apart because of the hurricane. You go to another house, you can't pay rent or mortgage at two houses. You let the house go into foreclosure, and guess what? You file for bankruptcy, and the insurance company didn't have to pay you a dime. I know that game because they played it with me. So it is likely that they're going to deny all the claims from Hurricane Helene. See, Katrina still got that PTSD. Hurricane Helene and also Hurricane Milton. By the way, if you hear trucks going by, this is usually a generally quiet area, but there are thousands of trucks here picking up debris, as well as trucks installing new poles and everything. So now I have traffic all over my neighborhood. But with that being said, the SBA will give you a loan. It is clear that it's a loan. And it's also very clear, if you own a home, they're going to put a lien on it. It's really a second mortgage. It's no different than Wells Fargo or anybody else would give you a second mortgage. And do you know what happens when you don't pay your second mortgage? They foreclose on you, whether it's Wells Fargo, Capital One, or any other lender that you can think of. So if you don't pay the SBA, what are they going to do? they're going to foreclose on you, because that's what happens when you have a mortgage on your property. If you don't pay your car, they're going to take your car. That's just the way that it works, right? Simple credit debtor law. But let's be clear, they're out there. Again, President Trump has been saying they're going to take away your home. I've already read articles about people saying one individual, his father refused help because they said FEMA's going to take my home. FEMA doesn't take homes. Again, it's like a grant. You ask for help, they give you the assistance, and they move on. $750 is the minimum. It's possible you qualify for more. Like I said, I got damaged pretty hard with Hurricane Wilma in 2005, was it? Yeah, 2005. And they gave me some money to get me through. Like I said, I got a generator that I was able to get. But SBA will give you a loan. It is a loan. Let's be clear. If you don't have a home, they'll still give you the loan. But what they do is, if you don't pay, same thing. They sue you, they'll garnish your wages. You know who also does that? Every single creditor that exists. If your car gets repossessed, they're going to garnish your wages to get paid or put a lien on your home. It's just creditor debtor law. Let's not confuse what SBA is versus FEMA. They are two completely different organizations. Likewise, FEMA cannot start writing checks to ICE and immigration to transfer those funds over to immigrants and wherever else the rumor is that their money's going towards the border. They don't have that authority. This is the government. Remember how much bureaucracy they have. You think FEMA could just cut a check and say, let's put this money for something else? No, because legally they can't. They don't even have that authority. So FEMA has to focus on FEMA related stuff, natural disasters. It could not be simpler. Um, I saw it the other day, which is sad. There's a long group of Republicans that voted against funding FEMA. Matt Gaetz from Florida is one of them, and yet he's on his podcast now and he's speaking publicly about how FEMA needs to pony up some money. He was the guy that actually said, "Let's cut back on their funding." Now that his state has been hit hard, he wants funding. So this is the hypocrisy and this is the danger where people are not asking for help because they're misinformed. Now, I'm going to be the first one to tell you. I got videos, all my videos focus on finances, bankruptcy, mortgages, all that stuff, and this is all part of that. And again, I've been a victim of Hurricane Helene, no power for 13 days. Don't even guide yourself by what I tell you, right? Don't guide yourself. Look it up. If I tell you that you could do this in a bankruptcy case, go look it up. Go talk to multiple lawyers. Confirm what I'm saying. This is to provide you information. But go out there and speak with the lawyer that's in your neighborhood or whoever or whatever it is that you're dealing with finances and confirm everything I'm saying is true. Don't spend more time researching your next cruise or your next vacation than something as important as this, or even if it's politics. Don't spend 10 seconds researching politics from non credible sources, but then spend an hour and a half researching what hotel you're going to stay at when you go visit Miami or any other state. That is absurd. There's no logic to that. So focus, go to credible websites like the FEMA website and see what they are, what they offer. They are spending time and money and energy that they should not be to go against this disinformation campaign because they're politicizing FEMA funds. It is absolutely ridiculous. There are people whose homes have been destroyed. They got nowhere to go. They've got blue tarp that's about to blow off any second now, and they're afraid to ask FEMA for money because they think they're going to lose their house. I cannot make this any more clear. FEMA doesn't provide loans. The SBA will provide you a loan. So understand that if you do apply for FEMA, you will get an email saying you could qualify for a disaster loan. Yes, they will put a lien on your house, the SBA, because that's what second mortgages are. Capital One, Bank of America, Chase, they will put a second mortgage on your home too. Okay, so likewise, so will the SBA, and couldn't be simpler. Creditor debtor law, which is what I know about, and I consider myself beyond an expert on this issue. You don't pay, you get sued. That's just the way that it works. FEMA doesn't do that. The SBA does that. Now, whether you should get an SBA loan or not, that's up to you. Do your research. You get 10, 20,000, whatever to fix your roof because your insurance company is playing games because they love to play games. They love collecting your money. And I'll be clear, They don't rush as quick to send you back your money. Could be for something simple like a car. I had a car damage and my camper was damaged. But when you ask for a big check for your home, they tend to go a little bit slower and shuffle their feet when it comes to that. But don't pay and see how fast they cancel your policy. Hell, they're even canceling policies down in Florida for people who are paying right before they come to the hurricane. Don't get me going on that issue and how that's even possible legally. But again, do your research. Don't even guide yourself by me. I cannot be more clear on that. Go to the FEMA website, look up, see what they offer. If you need the help, ask for it. FEMA is not going to take away your home. Okay. Maybe you qualify for the 750, maybe you don't. Not everybody qualifies, obviously, but maybe you also qualify for more. You get an SBA loan, you are putting a loan attached to your house, aka a second mortgage. Anybody who's ever had a second mortgage and you stop paying for it will confirm with you that the second mortgage lender will probably foreclose on you, especially if there's enough equity in the home. So keep that in mind. This disinformation campaign is BS. Don't listen to what you're hearing from politicians. Go straight to the FEMA website and figure it out. All right. Call FEMA. Just ask them. You can record the conversation. When a person picks up the phone, say, I'm recording this conversation. I'm sure they won't care. They're probably recording a conversation themselves. And if they do something, there you go. You got a multi-million-dollar lawsuit if FEMA forecloses on you. You would hope that FEMA gives you $750 and forecloses on you so you can turn around and sue them and make millions. You see? Twist the logic around, see it from another angle. So you would hope that happens because you'll make more money than you've ever made in your life. But I'm here to tell you that's not going to happen. They don't do loans. All right? Be safe. Do your research. My heart goes out to all you people in Florida. I've been through more hurricanes than I want to admit, and here I am going through Hurricane Helene. I avoided Hurricane Milton. I was lucky, but I have a lot of friends and family that didn't. I just saw a bunch of text messages from a friend who got serious damage to his home. My home avoided damages, but later today, someone is cutting two trees, pine trees that are getting way too close to falling on the house. And so, that'll get resolved today. And that's another issue. If there's price gouging, report it. Don't put up with it. My suggestion is try to hire local companies. The general rule is when these companies come from out of state, they're just out there price gouging. Something goes wrong. How are you going to chase them? They're in another state. They close their business, etc. You hire someone locally to chop down a tree and something goes wrong, you already know the answer. They bash them on social media, the negative reviews, so they aren't going to do that. Everybody wanted $2,000 and $3,000 for my tree. Now I got the local guy is going to do it for $1,000, which I think was the reasonable price. I'm not even disputing that price. I didn't even negotiate with him. So I hate to say, I know the out of town people get a bad rap, but I had enough out of town companies that would come by here, and the numbers were just astronomical. That you look at it and you say, there's no way that costs that much to remove that tree. So keep that in mind. Go to FEMA, apply. And if you need more money, then yes, you can apply for more with the SBA disaster loan. They will take your house if you don't pay. If you don't pay your house on the first mortgage, they'll also take your house. FEMA has nothing to do with that. Be safe, stay informed. You have any questions, let me know. Post in the comment below and I'll be happy to reply. Especially now that I got power after 13 days, I can actually use my computer and record a couple of videos. Take care, everyone. Be safe.